Hello and welcome back to DocTrack Administrator Training. Let's look at how to set up a DocTrack Cloud Storage ID for AWS. The S3 Cloud Storage solution in AWS has become a popular option for many reasons, not the least of which is its superior layers of security. It's so powerful, in fact, that many companies use it to comply with certain government contracting requirements. It's for this reason that we've chosen AWS as the exclusive cloud storage solution for our DoD Trade Secrets module available for DocTrack. Configuring S3 for the DoD Trade Secrets module is beyond the scope of this course, but we do want to show you how to set it up for the standard DocTrack functionality. In the previous lesson, we set up a Cloud ID for files stored in a Box account. After entering the required information, you have the option to provide the credentials of a single Cloud Service User account. This will be shared for all those that have access to it, but as you'll learn later, you will be able to overwrite these credentials. The process for Dropbox is similar to Box. But with AWS, it's a little different. You'll need to configure one or more identity and access management users on the DocTrack Cloud Storage form. Then, as you'll see later, the IAM user will be associated with individual Sightline and ShopTrack users. The IAM user can log into AWS directly through a browser. From there, they can go to S3, select a bucket, and access folders and files for which they have permission. Your company might use this cloud storage bucket for many different purposes, which is the case in this example. So I've set up a special folder here called DDM and a subfolder called DocTrack to use exclusively for my DocTrack archive. Now, I want our users to have access to the files here through DocTrack, but I don't want them to have direct access to AWS in their browser. Luckily, when you set these up in the DocTrack Cloud Storage form, the users won't see the credentials. They'll only be able to get to the files through DocTrack. Also, I want to configure this so that only a few of our users can add files to this archive and make manual attachments. So the first thing we've done is define two different IAM users, Lake and Lake2. Lake can only read and execute files in our S3 buckets. Lake2 can also add and delete files. These two accounts will have the same bucket name and region code, but each will have unique access and secret keys. Once we've gathered all this information, we can set up a new Cloud ID for AWS. The provider is S3, and for the Cloud ID, I'll name it S3 STD or S3 Standard. That way we can differentiate it from one that we may set up later for DoD Trade Secrets. We'll enter the bucket name here and the region code here. And remember, I only want users to have access to the DocTrack archive and none of the other folders in our bucket. So here I'm going to enter the path to that DocTrack root folder. Next, in the grid below, I'll configure each of the IAM users we've set up. The user named Lake can only open and execute the files. I'll enter the IAM username here Copy and paste the access key here, and do the same for the secret key. Lake 2 is the IAM user that can also add and delete files and folders in our S3 buckets. So I'll enter that one next. First, the username, then the access key, and the secret key. All right, we've set up a typical Cloud ID for our Box account, and we've also set one up for our S3 Cloud Storage bucket in AWS. Now we can use these to set up the appropriate DocTrack access for our Sightline and ShopTrack users. And on our next lesson, we begin that process with our first look at the DocTrack Cloud Storage user form. See you then.